Okay, so this is a quick video on adding and subtracting matrices. Hopefully you have done a little bit of this in year 11, but if you didn't do further in year 11, it is very easy skill to pick up. So first of all, if you were ever asked about what an equal matrix is, an equal matrix is a matrix that is exactly the same as the other one. So for example, this is exactly the same as this. Position is really important. Whereas this versus this, they are not equal matrices, even though they have the same elements inside but in a different order, they're not equal to each other. All right, so the rule is when we're adding and subtracting matrices, you must have the exact same order because the positions add on to the corresponding positions. So for example, this matrix here is a 2 by 3, and this matrix B is also a 2 by 3. So I can add those together. And it's as simple as this. So in row 1, column 1, I am adding the same position. So 1 plus 1, right? And then I continue this process. So the next one is 3 plus 2, 3 plus 2, and then I've got 0 plus 3, 0 plus 3, 1 plus 2, 1 plus 2, 4 minus 2, and 2 plus 1. And then if I work those out, so I've got 2, 5, 3, 3, 2, and 3. All right, easy peasy. Works exactly the same when we are subtracting. So A, 2 minus 1, 3. So it's literally all these numbers up here, but with minuses. 0 minus 3, 1 minus 2, 4, minus 2, and 2 minus 1. All right, so it is 2 minus 1, which is 1, 3 minus 2, which is 1, 0 minus 3, which is negative 1, 1 minus 2, negative 1, 4 minus 2, so we add those, 6, and 2 minus 1, which is 1. Now, if you are no good with your positive and negative numbers and like adding those together and you have a bit of strife with that, just remember you can use your calculator. I'm just going to pause the video and just show you where to find that in a Casio. Okay, so I just realized also that I had put in a 1 there instead of I put in the wrong number. So there was a 2 in that first matrix in row 1, column 1. So that first element should have been 3, not 2. What I've done is I've gone and taken some screenshots from my calculator. So with your matrices stuff in the main page on your CAS, in Maths 2, you'll find your matrices blocks where you can build the size of the matrix you want. So for example, for this one, which is a row matrix, if you click that, you'll get a 1 by 2. And if you click it again, it will add a length to your row. So it will add another column and make your row longer. And then if you want to add another row to make your columns longer, you click this and it will add another row. And then if you want a square matrix, you can click that, and as you click it, it adds equal amounts of rows or columns. So that is where you find your matrices stuff. Now, if there's a question that's this happens quite a lot in the textbook, where gives you A, B, C, whatever, and it's getting you to do all these problems over and over and over with A, B, C, D matrix, and you're doing all this stuff to it, you can set a matrix as a letter, and you use this little arrow here. So this is really handy if you are doing lots of repetitious stuff, so you don't have to keep doing your matrix or drop and dragging your matrix. But just remember, if you do this, just make sure you clear your calculator and clear your variables afterwards. So what you do is you put in your matrix. So this was my first one. I've pressed this arrow key here, which is also found in Maths 2, and I've let it equal. So you can either go into your ABC or your variable and let it equal a letter that you want it to be. And then I did the same for B. I hope that's called A and B. I just made them up as A and B. Anyway, so now that they've set, once I give the calculator a command of A plus B, it will do all the arithmetic for me, and then similarly with A minus B. All right, so if you prefer to do it on your CAS, go for it, totally fine. All right, so that is just basic adding and subtracting of matrices. Another thing that you might see in this part of the textbook is what's called scalar multiplication. This is super easy as well. Students don't have an issue with this. So scalar multiplication just means that we've got a matrix and we're multiplying the whole thing by a number. So for example, if I'm finding 3A, that is just 3 times A, or 3 times everything in that matrix. That is a 2. So that would be 3 times 2, 6, 3 times 3, 9, 3 times 0, 0, 3 times 1, 3, 3 times 4, 12, and 3 times 2 is 6. All right. You might also get a decimal. The reason for that is we can't divide a matrix, but we can times it by the decimal. So that's kind of like dividing it by 2, right? So timesing by 0.5, same as dividing it by 2. If you ever need to half something or whatever, you can also put that times it by a fraction. So you can times whatever your matrix is by a fraction, and it will half all of that, because when you put 1 divided by 2 in your calculator, it's 0.5. So either will work. And lastly, here is the zero matrix. Very self-explanatory. It's a matrix with all zeros. It can be any size. It just has to have every element as a 0. Hopefully this gets you through part C of the textbook, which is adding and subtracting matrices. Hit up your teacher if you've got any concerns.